Duncan Elliott, Managing Director of Galliford Try. Duncan is someone who is very well known across the highways industry, I have to say, and certainly someone I have known for many years, I think it's true to say. So I'm really looking forward to hear what he has to say, and I hope you are too. Duncan.
Nice to see you all here, and thank you very much for taking the time out the next few minutes to listen to what I've got to say. So it's quite odd actually, and I find it quite amusing, when somebody asks you to come and talk for a few minutes and talk about people and things like that, and you sit there thinking, what am I actually going to say? What am I actually going to talk about? What sort of messages do I want to get across? So leading change through flourishing people is the theme of the story that I'm going to relay over the next few minutes, and it is a story. This is not a lecture. It's not a preaching about anything in particular. It is just a story of me, a story of our team within Galliford Try, and a story of where our business has been and where we're going forward. For me, there's two real takeaways from the messages that will come with this story, which I think are the important bits for me. The first of those two takeaways is to really appreciate the true value that comes from different people within our industry, within our country and within our world today. And the second takeaway for me is the need actually for our industry to be far, far more inclusive going forward than it is at the moment, and certainly has been over recent years. And I think for me there's a lot going on just generally in that space, but I do get frustrated by a lot of people who talk a good job, frankly, but nothing really changes and no differences are made on the back of things that are done. What I didn't know actually until this morning is that this is Engineering Day. Does anybody else know that? Stick your hand up if you knew today in the UK is Engineering Day. Well, we've got one person. So I didn't know that until this morning, listening to Radio 4 at 5:30 on my way to Preston Station. But it is. And Engineering Day is actually, it's quite timely for me to sit up and talk about this, but it is, promoting the industry on the back of the fact that the industry is 59,000 engineers short every year in relation to what it actually needs to do the work that's out there. And not only is there a huge shortage of engineers in that industry, only 12% of those in the industry are female today, and only 9% are black, Asian and minority ethnic backgrounds. But why is that? And my answer to that is because the industry isn't inclusive enough, and isn't inclusive enough as it needs to be. So that's just a little bit of an intro for me. This is a story, it's not a lecture. Hopefully, you can take a couple of things away from it in that sort of space, and hopefully, make a change in your own businesses and your own teams going forward. When I gathered my thoughts on what to talk about and what to say, I actually spoke here 2 years ago. I think on the 9th of November it was, 2 years ago. And it was really interesting, actually, that in 2017, I thought, what's happened in 2 years? So 2 years ago, when I stood up on the other stage, I shared some personal things with you, or the people that were there anyway. And I was going to share a few more personal things, actually, which I think just help put a context to the messages that I want to give. What I didn't realise 2 years ago almost today, is that 5 weeks on, I would lose my father in the December of that year, and obviously be without him. That was a real surprise. 3 weeks after losing my father, being an employee of Carillion at that point in time, that was when Carillion went into liquidation. So I was part of that whole debacle, which wasn't pleasant for anybody, particularly on the back of having a successful business within Carillion that actually performed quite well. 6 weeks after that, I joined Galliford Try, and in hindsight I have to say I think that's probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me in the whole of my career. 4 months after that, my wife was diagnosed with cancer for the second time in 10 years. So this was sort of the early part of last year. 6 months after that, my mother moved in with us, which was December last year, and almost 2 years on, find out that I'm going to be a grandparent for a second time come March next year. So I have to say, and I surprised myself actually when I started listing it down. And I'm not. This is not a sob story. I'm not looking for any sympathy. So don't take it the wrong way. And you might think, what the heck is this bloke on about now? And what's the point of sharing this? Well, the point of sharing this for me, from that personal perspective, is that without people and without good people and kind people, that 2 years for me would have been a lot harder than it actually was, and was all made easier to deal with personally as a result of the people and friends we have at home, the colleagues and friends we have at work as well. And that for me is a real point to note and take away, that how people made that easy in my personal life. If you then flip into so what, because there's a big professional piece that directly links to this for me, and the same applies actually, is that what we're doing within the Galliford Try business and what we're focusing on now and going forward revolves really wholly around our people, and so we do refer to the term flourishing people, and what we are creating and trying to create is individuals who do feel absolutely flourished when they go to work and proud of what they do, and on the back of that, teams that feel absolutely flourished as well. And what is at the heart of that? Again, it is absolutely people. In terms of those teams, again, why would we try to create that, and why would we do what we're actually doing today? The simple answer is to create better performance across the sector and across the industry, and at the heart of that better performance for us is our people. We see a need to improve health and safety performance across the sector and have safer sites, to the point where every single person part of this industry should know, not cross the fingers and cross the legs and everything else and hope and pray, but should know that they're going to go home safe and well at the end of their shift, back to their families. And flourishing teams will help facilitate that. We, through people, will have more satisfied customers and partners. We'll have stronger relationships on the back of improved performance, and we will deliver a service that our customers absolutely want and ask of us, not something else. And I think, unfortunately for me, all too often, we see an industry that is coming up with reasons why things are taking too long, longer than they should, reasons why they're too expensive, and we need to cut through that and just do, what we say we're going to do, deliver within the parameters provided to us and the service asked of us by our customers. And lastly, those flourishing people will create a more sustainable business for us all round. And to get to a point where we know we're not going to hurt anybody, to get to a point where our customers are absolutely satisfied with the service that we are providing them, to get to a point where on the back of that we are making better, consistent margins, got high levels of engagement right across the teams that are out there, and the strongest relationships you could ever imagine with the supply chain, we will create a sustainable business that will be here for a long time. But you've got to ask yourself then, what creates a flourishing team? So if these flourishing teams are going to do all this great stuff, how the heck do you create a flourishing team? Well, you do that by creating a team that is absolutely proud of doing what it's doing and being part of what it's part of, by creating a team that gets listened to and valued and absolutely included in a part of the business and is contributing to the shape of our future, making decisions about what we do and helping the whole, not just feeling as though they're locked in a box somewhere. A flourishing team is filled with people who are recognised and engaged within the business and know what's going on, know the direction of travel, know the things that are issues with us, know the things that need addressing, and know the way forward. Have we nailed all that? Are we perfect in that context? No, we're not, but we're on that journey. And if you took a slice through that journey today and said, so how are you doing? My simple response to that would be pretty well, actually. We have a great business. There's no two ways about that. There's still room for us to improve and progress against the journey that we're on. The growth within Galliford Try Highways is significant over the past 12 months. We've doubled the size of the business. In simple terms, we have restructured the team and we've made some changes there. And all those things have led to already improved performance within our business. Our health and safety statistics are improved. Our in-year AFR is currently set at 0, and our rolling AFR is at 0.02, and we weren't in that place a year or so ago. We manage cash better than we've managed cash before. Our churn rates of staff have started to decrease. Our financial outcomes and reporting and the margins we make are stable and good margins, and our general performance against the KPIs that exist within the business that we measure ourselves against, are better than they were a year or so ago, which is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. We've won good work and continue to win good work, which is fantastic, and the relationships that we have with our customers and our partners is gaining strength all the time. So something's right. There is still work to do. We need to lead our way through this and continue on the journey that we're on to ultimately succeed. From my point of view, I am hugely proud of the team that I sit as part of, and I'm actually hugely grateful to be part of that team that not only has got the business into the shape that it's in today, but has helped me personally over the last 12 months or so through some of the challenges that I've faced. And without those people, none of that could be said. So on that note, the two takeaways, just to remind people for me, were just remember the true value that come from different people, and just remember the need for the industry to be far more inclusive than it is today going forward, to create flourishing teams, to create a better business, to create a better industry for all of us going forward. So that's me. Thank you.